Did you let him speak, Mayor?
No, we're going.
Let him speak and let him speak. I don't know why you have a problem with people
Because-
speaking, except for people that want to talk bad about other
It's
people.
empty words.
It doesn't, he has the ability to speak empty words.
Mr. Dasty
You
is
don't get to
here.
pick that.
We had a motion from the floor. We had a second. And we had to vote to go into closed session. For the public, we are going into closed session, and then we'll come out and the public will have an opportunity to be heard. And Mr. Di Gregorio, you have an
Public has
opportunity
the
to
right
answer.
to know
Disrespectful.
that Mr. Das, could you tell us who you're representing on council this evening?
You represent the borough, sir.
Are you asking me who I represent?
Yes, who you're
This is a
representing?
public
Are you
meeting.
representing legally? Are you, who are you representing?
I represent the borough and the municipal government.
Okay, and to the
And
public.
Okay.
so
I
we're
might,
gonna
I might
put
say,
everyone-
if I could.
Yeah, we're gonna put everyone
Okay.
into the waiting room.
Okay.
Can you let the attorney
Also-
answer the question?
Laura,
I think the public has a right to know
They've been
who
told
is,
already.
who Mr. Dasty is and who he is representing.
He
Sir,
said
can
it
you
So
four
I
times.
respectfully
Four
ask
times. Four
Mr.
times.
Dasty,
He's
to-
attorney for the borough tonight. Mr. Mensch couldn't make it for the fourth time, and we're going into closed session. We had a
So
vote.
you have But the right to Mr. cut off Dasty- the
I'm not gonna let you
Mr.
waste our
Dasty-
time tonight, Mr. Di
Mr.
Gregorio.
Dasty. So you have the ability to
hired
stop the attorney represent too. you.
And Laura, you shouldn't kick people out of the
Okay.
meeting when there's a
So we're
councilman
now
still
in
speaking.
closed session.
Sorry.
And Mr. Dasty, you have the floor. We're here to talk about the appealing the litigation.
Excuse me.
Mr. Di Gregorio,
Excuse
Mr.
me.
Luciano were
Excuse me.
warned that they have a
I am
conflict of interest.
I'm
they
stopping
should-
the. Okay. Done now.
Mr.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to come out of closed session, please?
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I abstain.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, can I please be recognized for a moment?
Yes, go ahead.
I'd just like the public to know, and I'd like to get an answer. Councilman Di Gregorio and I were just removed from the closed session discussion. Even though we advised the attorney, we advised the mayor, we advised council that we have sought legal advice about recusing ourselves from one of the legal cases that we have filed suit against the municipality for. And the mayor and our attorney, Mr. Dasty, took it upon themselves to just remove us because they felt we were conflicted. And I'd like to ask Mr. Dasty, because it's my understanding that the conflict is determined by the person, not by the mayor, not by yourself. We get legal advice all the time about things, and the mayor will ignore certain things that he doesn't like, and he'll use those things that he gets advice about to support his position. So I'd like to hear from you, Mr. Dasty, about the reason why Councilman Di Gregorio and I were put out of the meeting in public on the record when we didn't make that determination and had a feeling that we were only conflicted with one defendant, not multiple defendants, and should have been able to been stayed inside of the closed session.
Perfect, glad to, sir. Both you and Mr. Di Gregorio texted me this afternoon and said that you had received advice from an unnamed attorney that in the event that the council was to file an appeal on the affordable housing case, that you could abstain on on Mr. Wunsch, who's one of the defendants, and vote one way or the other on the rest of the defendants. Mr. Wunsch is your attorney, and he's your attorney and you're suing the town. And Mr. Wunsch is a defendant in the malpractice case. You can't do that. As I indicated to you previously, you're either in conflict or not in conflict. You're in for a dime, you're in for a dollar. You can't do that. I asked you who gave you that legal
Mr.
advice, and
I don't,
you
Mr.
don't.
Mr. Dasty, if I may.
I'd like to finish.
Yes, sir, I
please.
apologize.
That's all right. You wouldn't tell me who the attorney was. I would have been happy to talk to
Yeah.
you. But
interrupt if I may.
you never told me who the attorney was.
Or Mr. Dasty, that you didn't answer my question. I understand that you advised me that I'm conflicted. My question is doesn't the person, the council member, make the determination after legal advice from whether it be the borough attorney, the ill-gotten gains of the mayor, or anybody else? Don't we
No,
have the
I'm
right
trying
to
to-
make,
Mr.
let me
Luciano, I'm
finish,
trying to
please,
answer your
sir?
question.
Can I finish,
Yes.
please? I thought you were done. So if you're not done, I apologize. I thought you were done speaking, but you
Okay,
didn't answer my question. I want to know about specifically being put out of the closed session at the sole decision of you and the mayor, when David and I both said we felt we could have stayed. And I want to know, I would like for you to answer the question about who makes the determination on conflict and recusing themselves. Is it you for me? Or do I do that myself? Or does the mayor just make that determination?
I was trying to answer you and give you a little, to give everyone else a little history lesson here. You said, both you and Mr. Gregorio texted me this afternoon and said some attorney told you you're not in conflict.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. It's not your business.
Can you let him finish, please? Can we let Mr. Dosty finish? Go ahead, Mr. Dosty.
Some attorney, if you had told me the name of that attorney, I would have been more, and you want to tell me now, I'll be glad to talk to that person. To answer your
Why?
question, Mr. Luciano.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. I'm waiting for your answer.
The person who potentially is in conflict should make that decision first if they're a good servant, a good public servant. If the attorney for the town feels that you are in conflict and you refuse to ignore that, then yes, the township attorney and the mayor who runs the meeting have an obligation to do what's ethically correct. There is no question that you, Mr. Di Gregorio, are in conflict when it comes to the issues concerning the malpractice case. Your attorney is one of the defendants. How can you possibly?
I know you keep saying that.
Session about the strategy, for instance.
But that you can keep going on with that, sir, with all due respect, but that's not my question. It seems like you and May are beating the same drum. My question, I think you answered, is that if the council person decides that they want to, if this was a public meeting and not in this virtual land, how would you have gotten me out of the meeting?
Oh, look, I'm not being argumentative. What are you saying? Like throw you out of the meeting?
Well, that's what you did. I mean, that's what's been happening to
I've
me.
answered your question.
Okay.
I've answered your question a few times.
Okay. I just wanted it on the record. Thank you, sir.
All
So
right.
let me just add,
We don't need you to add an opinion.
we as council and mayor
May I go next?
have the right, let me finish. I was respectful and I let you speak, even though what you're saying was wrong. We have the right to sit together as a governing body and discuss litigations. That is the sanctity of our discussions. If two people such as yourself, Mr. Luciano, and you, Mr. Di Gregorio, are conflicted, you destroy the sanctity of our conversation. Now, Mr. Wunsch was the borough council for the time period that relates to the malpractice claim. Mr. Wunsch is now your attorney. Mr. Wunsch directed the affordable housing attorneys who were sued with him.
He was just a
You'll
municipal
note-
attorney.
Let me finish. You'll note that there was not one single fact witness called at a trial giving.
Are we
rise to
gonna, what does that have to do
Let
with
me
my
finish.
question? What does
Let
it
me
have to
finish.
do with my question?
Let me finish.
What does it have to do with my question?
Let me finish.
What does it
Mr.
have to do with my
Troutner
question?
confirmed- Mr. Troutner confirmed in writing in August of 2019 that Mr. Wunsch directed him and the others. in this
And you've
litigation.
lost on every avenue that you've
Now-
taken with this.
Now, Mr. Wunsch again was sued. Mr. Wunsch represents you. The appeal is about Mr. Wunsch. And for whatever reason, in your distorted reality, you're unable to detect a conflict in that fact pattern. I feel sorry for you because you're just not having any cognitive ability tonight. The
Well,
other
that's
thing, Mr.
very kind of
Luciano,
you. Go ahead. Let me
Mr.
help
Luciano,
answer
and
you.
this is a very direct warning to you, Mr.
Thank
Di
you.
Gregorio,
Uh-huh.
and Ms. Geiger. If you're going to talk to me about ill-gotten gains, you better brace yourself because all I've gotten from being mayor is ill-gotten losses, okay? That's all I
Yeah,
have,
that's true.
okay? You better watch your mouth. If you think I have ill-gotten gains, show the proof. Otherwise, sit there, shut up, and listen to what you have to do and do your job, okay? I've had enough of you and Mr. Di Gregorio. You make
So,
a sham of our government.
Just to clear the
Stop.
record,
Move on.
just to clear the record,
And to
please.
clear the
Just to
record,
clear the
yes, we
record,
did
please, 'cause
remove
you're
you.
full
We
of
put you in the
garbage.
waiting room. We
Is
put
that-
you in the waiting room because you should not have been in closed session,
Just
like we
to-
told you at the
Just
last
to
meeting.
clear, just to keep the record clear, sir.
You, sir, have a
we've-
big problem.
Once again, I readily, and even in my email to Mr. Dosty, is that I personally, I didn't answer for Councilman Di Gregorio. I sent the email myself, is that I would recuse myself with anything that has to do with Mr. Wunsch. I think as an
cannot sit
elected
in a
official, let me
meeting-
finish.
You
And
cannot
after
sit in a
elected
meeting about
official,
Mr. Wunsch
as an
and pretend
elected
that you're not
official,
there
I
for
have
Mr.
the
Wunsch.
right, I have
Stop
the
it.
right and
Stop
the
it. This is
ability
not, this is not
to
third
fit
grade,
into
okay?
legal
This is
cases. So you're going to
adulthood.
talk. This is, then I'm
This
going to
is
talk over you.
adulthood.
Every time
No,
you talk
but
tonight, I'm going to talk
You
over you.
cannot.
I'm just
you
letting you know
cannot
right now.
pretend you're not-
Every
you cannot
time you
pretend you're
talk,
not
I'm
gonna
going to talk
listen to
over
things
you.
about Mr. Wunsch.
Every time
You're
you talk,
there
I'm going
to
to talk
protect
over you.
Mr. Wunsch and the political machine
Every time
that
you talk,
controls
I'm gonna
you and
talk
Mr.
over
Di
you.
Gregorio and Ms.
If that's
Geiger,
what you do.
okay? I see you're all here. I've had
So
enough of you guys. We're gonna
again,
defeat all of you. And you know what?
once
The
again,
residents of Englewood
I
Cliffs
said I
are
would
grateful
recuse
to my
myself.
efforts to do
No, they're
that.
going to be grateful for our efforts for preventing you from paying your friends $1 million. That's what they're going to be grateful for.
No,
That's
law
why
firms
our
do a
lawsuit
great
has
job.
nothing to do with making money, has to do with stopping you from wasting the taxpayers' money.
You have to deliver to your machine.
Taxpayers'
We
money.
understand
I
that.
have no
And I'm
machine.
here to
I have a
stop you
BMW and a
dead in
Harley
your track.
Davidson. Those are the
Just like a
machines I
corrupt
have.
Russian column, I'm going to stop you in your tracks.
Yeah,
You're not
okay.
going to deliver for your political machine. You're not
Okay.
going to destroy this town. As much as you and Di
Thank
Gregorio
you,
want to
Mayor.
destroy this town, I will not let you. And if
Thank
Geiger
you.
wants to write
Keep
about
on
it,
your
tell your face,
diatribes.
Geiger. We
David
can
has
talk
his
about it all
hand
night
up.
if you want.
May I be recognized, please?
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dasty, can you still hear me? Hello?
I can hear you fine, sir. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Dasty, I just would like the public to know that you are now acting as our borough attorney in the absence of Matthew Mensch. But you are also representing who exactly? Can you tell us who
You asked
you're
me
representing?
before, sure. You authorized me to represent the town, the borough, with regard to two matters of litigation initially. The one that was started by Mr. Wunsch and also the medical malpractice case. I'm sorry, the malpractice case to look into it. So at this point, and you authorized me last time to get involved with any other litigation that comes forward. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, so that brings it to mind that it seems that you are conflicted because you are running, basically you are a borough attorney. We're going to you for advice. But you're at the same time, you're representing or defending
Is that what Ms.
the
Geiger
actions
asked you to
of
tell us?
spending-
Is
Excuse
that
me,
the best
it's
you can
my,
do?
it's my,
David,
this
is that
is
the
my
best you can
time.
do? Is that the best you can do? To take the lawyer that we appointed to represent the borough and say he's conflicted in a case that you brought? Are you kidding me? Are you
Why
kidding
are
me?
you,
Stop
why are you
wasting
so
our
upset?
time.
Why
Stop
are you so
wasting our
upset?
time.
Calm down. I'm
Stop
just trying
wasting
to
our
be
time, Mr.
logical
Di
about
Gregorio.
this.
Mr. Di
I'm
Gregorio,
not wasting, I'm just,
he's
I
not
think the public
conflicted.
needs to know.
Can we move on through the agenda, Mr. Katrubis? You're the council
No,
president.
you know what, you're giving me very short amount of time.
You've had
and
enough
I've-
time, sir.
I've been-
You know what? Maybe if we
I've
have
had
time
my
at the end or
hand up.
tomorrow, you could talk about it. But
I've
right
had
now,
my
we have an
hand up, and I
agenda to
really
get
would
through,
like,
Mr. Katrubis.
I'd like to finish the point.
You
And I'd like
finished.
the public,
It's done. It's done.
unless there's some reason that you don't want the public to hear this.
The
please,
public has
because
heard
you're
it 10
cutting me
times
off.
already. 10 times.
No,
10 times.
listen,
10 times.
you-
You brought a
you're trying
lawsuit.
to- yeah,
You brought a
the
lawsuit,
public
and for
needs
some
to
reason you
know-
think you could sit in closed session. I will not deal with that idiocy, okay? That is shambolic, okay? Whatever Wunsch is telling you to say, or Geiger's telling you to say, they're wrong. They're playing games with the public. I've had enough of you guys, okay?
Mr.
Mr.
Dasty.
Katrubis, let's move on to the
Mr.
agenda,
Dasty,
please.
FYI,
Dasty,
Glenn is
not fit-
muted, Laura.
okay,
Again,
nobody
I don't know.
sees you.
He muted
And
himself.
I
He
do
had to call Karen and ask her
believe, I
what to
do
say.
believe that Mr. Dasty made the decision to put us out of the meeting. Here, Glenn and me.
Gentlemen,
we're
Laura,
both
can you
whatever's
just
been
please
done has
make
been done.
sure that,
trying to-
you know what,
we are
sometimes I
trying
do,
to
I
prevent-
have to mute
we're
myself,
excuse
and I
me.
don't think it's right that I have to sit here for 10 minutes trying to unmute myself. So
Why'd you
either,
mute yourself? You always blame me. Why'd you mute yourself, Glenn?
why?
Okay,
Because my
what-
dog was barking in the background. Is that okay, Mayor?
Well, maybe.
Is that
somebody-
okay? Do you want to hear my dog?
Gentlemen, the
You want to
global
hear my dog,
settings,
Mayor?
I can't tell the difference between you and your dog. So
Yeah, I
let's-
can't tell
Gentlemen.
you between my dog's rear end and you.
Okay, here we
Gentlemen.
go. Here we go.
gentlemen, just so you know, the global settings to the system, if you mute yourself, you're gonna have to wait till Laura figures out that you've been muted. We have to be a little bit patient with her. It's not done deliberately. But
I
can we
didn't
just
say
move
it was
on?
done
No,
deliberately.
I know that, Glenn. I'm just letting you know that once you mute yourself, you're stuck in that trap.
Don't
So can we just please move on with the agenda?
Yeah, so next on the
Okay,
agenda are
but
minutes. Mr.
But
Katrubis,
you know what? I
yeah,
never got a chance to finish because
It's
the mayor
okay.
cut me off.
Well, that's
So
fine.
I would like to get a chance to
Katrubis,
finish.
go
Mr.
ahead.
Cassidy, I
So-
do,
It's unbelievable. You know what, Tim, don't be
That's the-
disrespectful. David's trying to, don't be Mario. Let David finish.
No, David just wants to go on and on and on, okay?
The only
And
one
we're not
going
doing
on and
that.
on and on is you,
We're
Mayor.
not doing that tonight. It was explained.
The only
two of
one is you, Mayor.
have
Please
a
stop.
conflict. You have a
Please stop.
conflict.
All right,
Please
well,
stop.
why don't you guys let us know when you're finished, okay? So we can just move on with the meeting.
That's
Why
good.
don't-
Let David
You have a
I would
finish.
like to finish my point, please. So, Mr. Dasty, I just want the public to know that you're representing 3 council people or 4 council people. We are trying to prevent.
He's representing the
town
borough.
from-
He's not
No, I
representing
don't.
council.
That's not true.
That's
Sorry.
not true. He's representing the borough,
represent
Mr. Di
the borough.
Gregorio. We keep telling you, open up your eyes, open up your ears. He
Listen to
represents the
yourself,
borough.
Mayor.
The
Listen to
council has
yourself.
different, each council
Listen to
member
yourself,
and the
Mayor.
mayor has different
Listen
attorneys.
to
Mr.
yourself,
Gregorio.
Mayor.
Join
Listen to
the public,
yourself, Mayor.
join the governing body.
Listen to yourself,
listen,
Mayor.
and actually process the information, Di Gregorio. Don't let Karen process it for you. She's incapable of it, and you shouldn't be listening to her. We've told you, Mr. Dasty, just for the 10th time, represents the borough. He does not represent.
does he
each
represent?
individual.
Who?
Okay,
Who
move
is he-
on. Mr. Katrubis.
who is
please
he
take the vote.
representing?
We
Who
just
is he
said that,
defending?
guys. He's
Let me-
representing the borough.
let-
This
let-
isn't that difficult. Can we please move on?
Mr. Dasty, it has no right to be the attorney in this meeting. He's conflicted.
He
We're
was
trying to prevent the
hired by
council from spending $1 million, from paying Cadwalader.
All right, enough.
And he
Listen,
is
David.
now defending that
Mr. Di
decision. That
Gregorio, you're out of
doesn't
order.
make sense.
They're out of order. Enough.
I am now finished with,
Katrubis, please
I'm
continue.
now
Can we please move on with the meeting?
And
Mr.
if you would
Katrubis,
let
please
me
continue.
speak.
I'd like to make a motion to reinstate the ad hoc committee with a couple of changes, please. I'd like to, the members will now be myself, Mr. Park, and a resident of the town, Hemant Mehta, with one small change where if any person is to be removed, has to be because of cause to be found by the council. I get them, and that's the motion.
Can I get a point of order, please?
I think you need a second first, sir.
Second.
Can I get a
Second.
point of order, please?
No, the first one, I'm talking about it.
No,
First
no,
one you're
we have to
talking,
discuss
sorry.
this and
But I have a
let
point
Mr.
of
Luciano
order.
speak.
I
Go ahead,
recognize
Mr.
Mr.
Luciano.
Park.
I
Mr.
did
Park?
a second for the team's proposal.
We didn't, we're.
Okay,
We
Can
have
I-
a first and a second.
Let's
Would
have
you like
discussion.
discussion on this or?
I think we need discussion. I have a point of order which takes precedence over discussion. I'm sorry.
But it's the same thing, so just discuss it.
Well, I received the agenda late this afternoon, and this isn't on the agenda. I think that the ordinance as it's, or the change to the committee should be proposed to everybody. I'd like to know why now we're going back to an agenda committee. What's the going to be the need or the use? What's the Affordable Housing Committee going to be doing? What's their charge going to be? And again, so now we're going to have a civilian back on the committee, and I'd like to have the mayor, because he's flip-flopped like a fish on this, voice his
Actually,
opinion
I
on it
haven't
too.
flip-flopped. I have not flip-flopped.
So
not at all.
those are the questions that I have on
I have
this,
not
and if someone
flip-flopped,
could
Mr.
please,
Luciano. Mr. Luciano,
if someone
I
could
am the
please,
most
please let us
consistent
know that,
elected
please.
Mr. Luciano, I'll be
New
happy to
Jersey.
answer that for you. The
Mr.
res-
Luciano,
Thank you,
just to
sir.
be
the
clear- hold on, guys.
resolutions.
Just to be clear.
Thank you,
I am
sir.
the most consistent elected
Go ahead,
official in
Tim.
the state of New Jersey, okay? I don't.
In the
flip-flop.
world, you're the most consistent in the
Maybe in the
world,
world, but
In
I
the
am certainly
world.
not inconsistent. I am always
like
consistent.
WWE.
So to answer your question, the resolutions that we're reinstating pretty much speak for themselves. I have nothing more to add to that.
Where are
Um,
those resolutions though?
Those
You say they
resolutions-
speak
I
for
mean,
themselves.
you should-
Where are they for us to see that we were going to
Well, I
discuss
mean,
them
look,
or
Glenn,
vote on them tonight?
Glenn, you voted on the one to actually instate it, and you were in favor of putting a resident on this, so.
I don't need history. What I need is if you're changing the resolution, I mean, you and with all due respect, the mayor can bring those things up. And we've talked about this before.
I don't
And I
have, I
think
don't have
that
the
if-
resolution in front of me, Glenn. This is just one of these things where. I'm
So that just happened
reinstating-
today? This
Just happened-
just came about today between discussions on, I mean,
Yep, that's
someone
what-
had discussions. I'm just curious.
I mean, I think you were in the room for discussion, right? So
I was in the room, so that's what I'm saying. It just happened today.
just happened today.
Okay. And this discussion that you're talking about was the one you had in closed session that should have been in open. Is that what we're referring to?
No, no, look, I don't have anything further to add to any of this. I made the
Okay.
motion. That's it.
There's a second, there's discussion. Anyone else have anything to add? If not, let's have a vote.
David seems like he's muted and trying to talk.
Well, David muted himself then.
Well, it doesn't matter. He still has the ability to talk, doesn't he?
He needs to unmute himself. What can I tell you?
What can I tell you?
Well,
Can
you know
someone
what?
mute the mayor and then let him
Why don't
sit
you guys
there?
do this? Don't mute yourself so you can talk to Karen and figure out what you need to say next. Just
Keep it,
don't
just
mute
keep it. up. Do you have our former administrator in your ear too? Should
I
we
don't
do
have
that to
anyone in my
you?
ear.
So
I
then
don't have
shut
any-
the heck up. I mean,
am
it's
completely
unbelievable.
independent.
Your
I am-
petulance is unbelievable.
Really, that's a
Okay,
big word for you. Glenn.
May I say
Thank you.
something now?
Maybe you should look it up.
Go ahead, David.
Got your name next
Thank
to it.
you. All right,
No, that's valet.
my concern about going down this path is, I think, a very, very valid concern. We have a settlement agreement. Nobody really likes it, but it's not,
You loved it, David. You loved
not
it. You loved
the,
it.
excuse me.
Be nice if the
Um,
mayor would let one
Could I
person speak.
speak without being interrupted, please? I would really
You
appreciate
loved
that.
that.
Can you
settlement.
just stick to discussion for the resolution though, David? I don't know. I failed to see what the settlement has to do with it.
The settlement has everything to do with it because the committee, as I understand it, wants to appeal, wants to possibly breach the settlement. If
That's
that
not,
doesn't-
that nobody has ever stated that. Only you have stated that. I've never stated that.
Well, I hope that the committee, whatever the committee is, we are in a very, and the public needs to know, we're in a very delicate situation.
What the
We've had-
public needs to know is that the council is working very hard to find the best possible solution it can bring to the public. And there's nothing wrong with adding a resident with experience and bringing them to the table. And you should be all for it. I'm expecting you to be all for it, David.
Councilman, it's
I'm
with all due
disappointed you
respect,
took it down before because it doesn't make it seem
I'll-
like you are
Councilman,
working for the public, but I'm hoping that you're for it tonight.
with all
let's
due
see what
respect, the
happens.
question that was just asked, and that's the same thing I asked. What is going to be, you just said that that's not the charge of the affordable. Let us, what is
The charge for the
what are we
Affordable
voting
Housing
on
Committee
besides
is to
reinstating the
find best
committee?
Possible solution to this
To what?
housing crisis. That's it.
To
That's
what?
simple.
To what crisis?
You don't think that there's a housing crisis?
There's a housing crisis in the state of New Jersey. Look, they
Okay.
just approved 2,000 units in Wayne. So I
Okay.
mean, yes, I understand there is, but I want to know what we're voting on, just we're going to reinstate a committee that
Mhm.
no one's going to know what they're doing. Why don't you tell us?
I think,
Tell
Glenn,
us what,
I think,
tell us,
Glenn,
tell
Glenn,
the
Glenn,
public
if you really
tonight.
want me to be frank and forward, so the
Yeah.
public really knows, what
Yeah.
I think is that you don't want, or somebody doesn't want you to have qualified people to the table that are giving us sound advice. That's what I think.
What I do want is to know, and what the public should know is, and what your fellow members that you're asking to vote on this should know is, what is the Affordable Housing Committee going to be charged with?
I just
Are
told
they-
you to find the best possible solution. This is a fluid situation, okay? It needs to reevaluate our entire position. When they were instated in November 18th, you had voted to take it down only after a few short weeks. Okay, that was very unfair to the residents, and an enormous amount of time was wasted. That's
But
not the
Tim,
way- Yep.
Councilman, with
Reason
all
why
due
we
respect,
voted to
we
take it
had a
down.
discussion on this, Councilman, and the reason why that I was happy to bring it down is because the new committee was treating myself the same as Mario Kranjak was treating us
How was
from,
that?
from July,
how
by
is
not
that? I'm
keeping us
sorry?
informed as to what the committee was doing.
That's not, that is
true.
not
That's
true at
I
all.
keep
Okay.
you informed,
And I
Glenn.
will say
If
the
you
They
don't
didn't
reason why
inform
read-
us
we
about
shut down the
anything.
Well, hold on a
committee-
second, guys.
Sit
The
back
You
and
get
sit
reason why
back
we
and
shut-
cross your
If you
arms
choose
and
not
shut
to
up.
read it,
We
Glenn,
can.
you get everything. You get
The
everything we
reason-
got. And if you
the
choose to
reason
not read it,
why
I can't make you read it.
I
can't
didn't get
read
I
for
didn't
you
get a
if you
bill
read.
until December.
You tasked the committee of renegotiating the bills, and the
Right.
committee was very successful in doing that. You did not allow them to complete the work, okay?
Councilman, it might have been successful. Tell me one time you came back and gave a report that you were that you were moving in any direction, that you were becoming successful.
That's absolutely, every time we spoke in closed session, I gave you an update. I don't understand. You want me to give you?
Really?
We've had this discussion, Glenn. You want me to call you
Okay.
every single time? Oh, he's making a little bit of progress. It doesn't work that way, right? We meet in
Okay.
closed session. I give you the details, and you know that to be true. So let's be
Okay.
honest with the public right now, because what I'm really not appreciating is that I am trying my best to bring solutions to the table. And
Right.
I found it very offensive to the public that it got taken down abruptly without any discussion. You want to talk about no discussion?
That was your fellow, that was
Oh, you voted on
your
it, though.
mayor.
It's not like-
That was your
had-
mayor and your other councilman Farrow that did that. So
I agree, though, but you let it happen, though, Glenn.
of course I
So
did,
you're
because
just-
you and I
you're
had a
just as
discussion a
accountable
couple of
for it.
days before that, and you knew exactly my feeling on the whole thing.
No. You knew that we were very close to renegotiating the deals, and you knew that it was very close. for
We were
us to move into the New
renegotiating a
Jersey
deal
attorney.
with a company that we weren't permitted to do work with.
Yeah, Glenn, I don't think that you're being, I don't think that, honestly, let's just agree. to
Okay, we can end
disagree
it
on
here. That's
because
fine.
It's
So,
it's
Tim,
not
what I would-
accurate what you're
Just
saying.
Tim,
Mr.
the
Katrubis,
reason-
what I would,
excuse
Mr.
me,
Katrubis,
Tim.
what I would ask is that you amend your motion to include repeal of the resolution that leaves the seat vacant and let the.
Here we
the
go, here,
seat
quid pro quo, ladies and gentlemen.
You know
That's
what,
what
the
you
reason why the reason why we voted it down is because there was runaway spending. $1 million were up to these residents.
That's not
on the
true,
hook
David. That's
by $1
you're
million.
grandstanding now, okay? You
And
took it down
the
because you didn't want a
committee-
professional
The
to know what they
committee
were
and
doing
Mr.
at the table.
the
talking to
resident,
our
excuse me,
attorneys.
Tim, let me
No, I'm
finish. You're
sorry.
not letting me finish
We'll argue
because
about this one.
you
I will
don't,
not
you're not
allow
letting me
you,
finish
I
because
will
it's
not allow
true.
you to lie to the public, okay?
No, no,
Well,
no,
don't
no.
sound like
Sit down
Mario.
because
You
you're
correct him when he's
afraid of
done.
People that know what they're
Tim.
doing, talking to our attorneys. That's what it really comes down to. And shame on you for not wanting to have one of our own residents involved in any of this.
Look, it's
Shame on you.
fine. Tim, all I'm saying is that
And you know it to be true, David.
And you know my feeling
Tim,
on it, Tim. Had
Tim,
nothing to do
we
with
had,
And
we
the
had
residents,
Mario
the residents are
Kranjak,
gonna find out very quickly what had happened.
Watch what you
okay?
say next, David.
we had Mario Kranjak's friend, 31-year friend, as our Cadwalader attorney, who was from New York City.
They were the best
They were
attorneys
denied,
for this
4
town.
times they were
They were the
denied
best
to
attorneys. for
practice
this
in New
town.
Jersey. And you kept on.
But
rolling
that's
with
a
that.
symptom of the
You
system.
kept
though.
on,
They
you know
were- they
what,
were
the reason
blocked by
why
the
Mario
system.
Let him
Kranjak is
talk.
interrupting me is because he doesn't want to hear the truth.
No,
And
no, I want you to be thorough and complete and not lie.
Well,
and
correct
the-
him when he's
The
done.
public needs to know that this committee was meeting regularly with Cadwalader Law Firm when the Cadwalader Law Firm was practicing law illegally in this.
More grandstanding,
in
David.
this
We were
state.
handed a
No,
fluid
it's not
situation,
grandstanding. It's
and
the
you
absolute
just don't
truth,
solve
Mr.
problems
Katrubis.
overnight.
It's
You need to give people
absolute
time to
truth.
work.
But
Okay,
that's
What
true.
I tell
Sit
the
down and
public
listen.
is the absolute truth. What you are doing, Mr. Katrubis,
Okay,
if
I'll
you
take it to the
are- no,
public. You
excuse me,
take it
Mr.
to the public
Katrubis,
and let's see who they believe.
you
in.
are
No problem.
not in reality here. I'm sorry. I told you this last
Oh,
night.
okay, so
You
now you're
are
gonna
not
insult me?
living
You're
in
gonna insult my
reality.
intelligence? Is that what you're gonna do?
No,
No
of
problem,
course not.
David. I'll deal
Tim,
with you accordingly.
absolutely not. I'm just saying you're
I will
not
deal with you
in
accordingly,
reality.
David. Can we move on
That's
now?
all. And you know what? We should be making the motion here to get the $100,000 back from
You can
that
make that
law
motion
firm.
after I'm done here, okay? So,
That
let's move on.
$100,000 needs to come back to the borough. That was spent illegally. That's got to come back to the
That's not
taxpayer.
true. That's not true.
Not to mention the $1 million.
That's not true. That's not true.
Absolutely needs to come
You're
back.
absolutely not telling the truth.
Okay, so
You
it
know?
seems like we're done with discussion. Can we please move on?
And it
with the
seems to
vote?
me, Tim, that
Yeah,
the
okay.
river of money. I mean, we talked last night and you were like, so it's going to cost a couple of $1 million more. Are you really willing? You said it's cost $6 million, a couple of $1 million more. Those were your words to me last night. I thinking about that, I was like, oh my God, here's a councilman that's just letting the money flow.
Really? How much money? How much money? How much money?
How
did-
much?
How much money did your
Here we go.
How much money did your group pay the attorneys?
5
Tim,
million,
Tim,
5 million,
2019, Mario
million.
How much
Kranjak,
money did
we
you
all know
pay?
what happened.
Your first vote.
$5 million.
Your first vote
That's what you
sitting
paid
in
to
your
pay
council seat, David. How much money did you
Good
pay? I don't know
golly.
that number. Does somebody know that number? Without even knowing any, no, without even knowing
Less than
anything,
Cadwalader.
his first order of business, was it a couple $100,000 he paid out to somebody without knowing anything?
He did.
It was not $1 million.
$275,000.
It was actually,
And it went to his attorney.
Did the attorney
Oh.
advise him that it was okay to vote on it?
Anyway, can we move on?
Did his
with the
attorney
voting?
advise him? Did the attorney advise you and the rest of the council that it was, oh, did the finance officer say that the money was there to be paid, which
I have-
wasn't there for
I have nothing
Cadwalader?
further to say.
Was the
Can we move on
finance
with the roll
officer
call,
there
please?
to
This
say
has
that,
nothing
you
to
know
do
what,
with this-
David? Did the
with the,
borough attorney
agenda.
say, you know what, Councilman
Okay,
Gregorio, it's okay
Council-
for you to go ahead and vote on this because we have the funds. We have $900,000 worth of
Let's-
funds to Cadwalader that aren't approved by the finance officer. Explain that.
Glenn,
That's to me,
Glenn, we're not
that's
gonna
more
get anywhere
important
at
to
this point.
me
Let's just move
about
on, okay?
David's first vote, okay?
Let's just
That's
move on.
more
We're not gonna
important
get
to me.
anywhere on this. Can we
About
take the vote, please?
$900,000 that's not approved by the finance officer that now you guys are gonna go back and negotiate
Glenn,
with.
I have no idea what
Okay.
you just said for the past 45
You're-
seconds.
you're,
Can we
uh,
just take a roll call?
Yeah,
please?
you're babbling
watch
now.
your,
I'm
watch your
babbling.
This
Lean
the
is-
in,
taxes are
Mario,
going to
and say that.
skyrocket for nothing. And Mr.
Go
Katrubis,
ahead, take the
you're
vote.
100% responsible. You are really,
You don't
with
call me
all due
irresponsible,
respect,
David. You know nothing about my actions. You
with
know
all
nothing.
due
So let's
respect,
move on.
We'll see
your
what quid pro
committee,
quo
your
actions come out
committee
tonight, though.
will do absolutely nothing.
You
It
don't
is
know that, David.
useless.
Moving
It
on.
is useless.
Moving on.
I told you
I have
last night,
Councilman Park,
you don't need a
Yes.
committee to do that.
Councilman Farrow,
No,
Councilman Di Gregorio. Is he muted?
I'm sorry, what
Councilman
did
Deagle-
Councilman Farrow just vote?
oh, what?
He voted
wait a minute,
no.
Wait a minute, what?
Oh, wait a minute.
This is for the ad hoc committee reinstatement.
Mr. Farrow voted
do you
no, and I
vote?
vote
I
no
didn't hear what
also.
Mr. Farrow voted. What did he vote?
He voted no.
Wait a
And I
minute.
vote,
I
Wait a
don't
minute,
think he
what-
knows what we're talking about right now.
Doesn't know what we're talking about.
It's such a,
We've only been talking about it for 25 minutes.
Okay.
I
We
know.
don't know what we're
I
talking
know
about.
that.
Luciano, stop, back off.
You back off.
He needs to
Back
know what
off.
the vote is
If
about.
that was me, what would you be saying? You
Back
can, we
off.
can make you read it, but we can't make you
Let's-
understand it.
back
Right, Mayor?
off.
Isn't that what you would be saying to me? Give me a
Be
break.
respectful.
Don't be a
back
hypocrite.
off.
Be
Be
respectful to everyone.
Back off.
Be respectful to everyone.
Be respectful and back off.
Be respectful to everyone.
Councilman Farrow, this is the vote for the ad hoc committee reinstatement.
Uh-oh.
No,
Councilman Di Gregorio,
no.
Councilman Luciano,
No.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Okay.
Fails, Mayor.
Okay, let's move on the agenda. Next up were minutes for approval, December 28, 2021 special meeting, February 18th, 2022 special meeting closed session, February 18th, 2022 special meeting open session. We got these minutes kind of late, so I haven't even had a chance to read those. So I'm gonna just.
Well, you
I
don't
wish
vote
we were
anyway,
doing it
right?
next week. No, I wish we were doing it next week.
But you don't vote, right?
Well, I do if there's a tie, so I'm just making,
Okay.
I'm just making it clear to everybody.
Okay,
Mr.
thank you.
Luciano, and if I have to, I'll repeat it to
Thank
you.
you.
if You're
Thank you.
sometimes not listening.
You can read it to me.
No,
I
you
have a
actually,
motion.
I'm gonna read you the giving.
Can you,
truth.
I think is there a motion on the floor for it? Minutes? No one's gonna vote for the minutes? I think Mr. Dasty said in the email that these needed to be voted on tonight, but that's your majority, so I don't care.
Okay.
There you go.
Mr. Dasty, is there a motion that you wanted to have us, so
Yes, sir. Are we done with the minutes issue, I guess? All right.
I believe we are.
Is this a new surprise motion or?
I didn't hear that, so.
I said, is this a one that we've been provided information on, or is this just a new one that's coming out like other resolutions that we're not all aware of?
It's
Well,
one that
well,
relates to your
listen,
conflict.
You'll be able to hear it, sir.
Okay, thank you.
The time period, theoretically at least, the time period in which to file an appeal of the dismissal of the malpractice case would normally be 45 days, which would be Monday. But because the attorneys have filed motions in the same case for fees and attorney's fees, that 45 days is extended because, like Yogi used to say, it ain't over yet. It ain't over till it's over. So my suggestion is, that you should consider adopting a motion to authorize me to go to Judge Farrington and ask that the 45 days be extended, since the plaintiff, the other attorneys have extended the case for trying to get attorney's fees and costs. So I would suggest that you consider filing a motion or authorizing me to file a motion to extend the 45 days,
Okay,
which the court allows.
is there a so moved?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion, Mayor, to
on a
reclaim the
second.
100,000. Well, there's no second, so we can move on from my understanding. So I'd like to make a motion to reclaim the $100,000 that's been previously paid to Cadwalader.
Second,
Go vote.
Discussion.
We already talked about it. Is there a vote?
Well,
No,
no,
we
it's
didn't talk about it.
motion, second, discussion, then a vote.
We've been speaking about it. This meeting should have been 10 minutes long, really.
Well, that's because you run it.
why don't you
Well,
want to
that's 'cause you
talk
keep
about
interrupting.
this? This is a very important issue for the community. Again, it is a law firm that was not authorized to do business in New Jersey. We should not be paying them a dime. We should reclaim or do all we can to reclaim the $100,000 and get it back into our borough safe or bank. There is no way that they should reap a dime. That firm should have never been hired. It was a 31-year-old friend attorney. He said it himself, Mr. Mayor Kranjak, that he hired, and from Cadwalader, they never got approval. They never got approval to do work in New Jersey.
Just to be
And this
clear, that-
Let him
borough-
finish.
And
Let him
this
finish. You
borough-
can talk
and this
after.
borough is the poorer because of this mayor's very, very bad and reckless judgment.
Okay,
Thank
so that 100,000 actually relates to the investigation that was done in July of last year. That's what Cadwalader was hired for. They were not hired for that 100,000 to appear in court. They did a thorough investigation and found that there was merit to bring a malpractice case against the 4 law firms, including your attorney, Mr. DiGregorio. I know that's why you're trying to protect him right now.
That's
But
a lie.
essentially, the crux of the matter was that there was a trial with no fact witnesses, and that was.
Can we
your
stick to
attorney.
the facts of what we're
It is a
talking
fact.
about?
That is a fact.
That you keep going back
That
to that.
is
You're
a fact.
thrown on. Here, so let
That
me
is
be
the
clear too.
fact that
When you're done,
doomed
if I
this
could
town.
speak, please?
The
Can I
town
please
was
speak?
doomed. Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Well, if you stop interrupting me.
Go ahead, sir.
In between your bites or whatever you're doing there.
Go ahead, sir.
The town was doomed as a result
In
of.
between my
the way-
bites. Now I have to comment. That's pretty funny. In between
Where's
my
the
bites.
Cadwalader report, by the way? Mario, you
let me
just.
finish.
Wait, David, let him
spent
finish. Let you
$100,000
deal with
on
my
a
thought.
report.
Okay.
Listen, you guys could be rude all you want, but I'm going to get my points across.
Please
And you know
finish,
what?
so I
I've been
can
doing this
speak.
for 6
Okay,
years
you-
with people like
if
you.
I just have to, I have to.
No, you don't have to do anything. What you have to do right now is shut up and listen. That's what you
Where's your,
have.
Whoa.
where's your
Okay.
report? Where's your
So-
$100,000
the
report? You said you
investigation-
said.
David,
you
let him
gave us
finish.
your
investigation was
report.
culminated.
I
in
never
the
saw a
actual-
report. Glenn, did you
the
see a
report
report?
was-
Tim,
the-
did you see a report?
the
Ramon,
report-
did you see a report?
The report.
Did anyone see a
presented itself
report? I
in the
didn't see a
form of-
report. We
Let
paid
me finish.
$100,000 for the report.
Laura, I can't do this, Laura. Either
Laura,
give me
did you
control
see the
or
report?
these people
Uh,
I didn't see the
came
report.
across in the form of the.
That's a lot of
litigation.
money.
Email to you?
Let me
Was it
finish.
an email?
Let me
Please
finish.
Please
share
finish,
it with
please.
us.
David,
Mr.
let him finish
DiGregorio-
so we can
Mr.
comment.
DiGregorio, you really have to be respectful and stop interrupting. The report came in the form of the complaint that was filed. It was very thorough. If you recall, on August 31 or thereabouts, the complaint was filed against those 4 law firms. And yes, the fear of God was put into these law firms because of what they did and what they didn't do, okay? And you know it and I know it. So I request that you go back and read the complaint, because the complaint is basically a culmination of the investigation, okay?
Can I
Here's your
please
answer,
speak,
sir.
Mayor? Can I please speak?
Go ahead.
Thank you. So the mayor's 100% inaccurate again. I knew, and before the mayor, I wanted to be respectful and let him speak, but before he said anything, I was going to tell you that we knew that we were going to hear that this was for an investigation. First off, this law firm does not have the ability to do, we don't have the ability to sign a contract with this law firm that's in New York City, because they're not licensed. They're not licensed to practice anything in New Jersey, whether it's law, investigation, anything, okay? Then they did an investigation who mayor says that we were all kept in, this is what we've been hearing since the mayor's been the mayor, is that he gives all the information to everybody. Well, I'm going to tell you that from the time that Cadwalader started until today, we haven't been provided with one update from Cadwalader, myself. Maybe there's been others, because if you look at the bill, you're going to see 200 emails from the mayor, other councilmen who have spoken to the council persons that have spoken directly to Cadwalader. So with regard to the investigation, Councilman Di Gregorio is 100% telling the truth and accurate. We never, ever seen an investigation report. We never got an update as to what, why, or where we should be filing a lawsuit. We never got anything. And for the mayor to sit here and say that we got it in the complaint, I'm not really used
Tell me
to,
when
I'm not
you're
really
finished.
used to, let me finish, please.
Tell me when you're
Let me
finished.
finish, please.
I want to respond to that.
Let me finish, please. I'm not used to when you have lawyers work for you, that the first time that you hear what their findings are is after they file the lawsuit. Usually it would come to the mayor and council and they would say, oh, you know what, here's what we found, and you should make a decision as to whether you want to go forward or not. That never happened. Never
So,
happened. To this day, never happened.
Are you
So,
sure, Mr. Luciano? Are you positive?
Do you have an investigation report? I'm positive. I don't have an investigation report.
So you're
I'm
saying. that-
100%
Okay,
positive
all right,
that
you're
there's no
finished.
investigation report.
Let me.
100, you asked me a question. I wasn't done. It doesn't
let me
mean you
pick
just
up.
get to
Let
speak.
me- all right,
No,
you
let me
had-
finish.
Let
Let me finish.
Let me finish your.
Let me
thought.
finish. Let me
Look,
finish.
What happened was.
So what
Mr.
happened
Mr.
was is
Luciano-
that we never got
All right,
anything
Tell me when
from
you're
them.
finished, Mr. Luciano. And
I
do not
will.
interrupt me.
I
Tell
will
me when you're
gladly,
finished.
I will gladly let you know.
I'm
when
sure
we're
the
done.
public wants to listen to you.
I'm
pontificate
gladly let you, I'm
for
sure
hours.
they do, because you know what? We have over $900,000 in legal bills that were never in our budget this year, that no one ever went back to our finance officer. Like every other bill that goes through the municipality, the finance officer has to certify that the funds are available. And you know
Let's go
what?
back to
We
your-
have
let's go back to your first point.
$900,000
go
or
back to your first point.
$800,000 that, you know what? The finance officer never approved. And there's emails even from the borough administrator that says, you know what? We can't, the mayor wants to keep Cadwalader on at $10,000 a month. Okay,
right,
so
so
now
let me-
all of a
let me go
sudden,
back to
now
your
we
first
want to,
point.
you know,
Okay,
even though
let me
the
finish.
courts
All
have
right.
said repeatedly, they're not legal
right.
to be working in New
Mr.
Jersey.
Mr.
Mayor
Luciano,
wants to
you're
still pay his
repeating
friends.
yourself now. You're
I
repeating.
know, of course, that's what you
Let
like
me
to
have
say.
the floor. Let me
Go
have
ahead,
the floor.
sir.
and Let me
Go
respond.
ahead, sir.
Let me respond.
Go ahead, sir.
Let me respond.
Go ahead, sir.
Because I want to respond.
Go
because
ahead,
Mr.
sir.
Mr. Luciano, I relish
ahead,
the
sir.
opportunity. Whenever you open your mouth, the chances are very good that you're lying. And I could prove you're lying right now. You were kept informed. You were at the closed session
Show it
when
to me.
Karen Dyer, let me
Show
finish.
it to me.
Let me finish.
I was
You
out of
were-
that. I was in the waiting
you
room.
were
Don't
in
tell
the
me that.
closed session.
I was in the waiting room.
Oh my God.
I was in the waiting room.
Well, you just let me speak.
I was in the waiting room.
Laura,
Don't say
you
I
have
was
to mute
there.
him. He
For
had the
Karen
floor, I had
Dyer's,
the floor.
Karen Dyer's, I was put in the waiting room the
Laura,
whole
mute him.
meeting.
Laura, mute him. I will not do this. I
You
do
did,
not have to
you
shout over
did
you.
put us out
And-
quite
and you-
frequently.
All right, let me go back.
And
Now,
you
Mr.
muted us
Mr.
quite
Luciano
frequently.
said that he was not kept informed. He's a liar. He attended the closed session meeting in July and then August 11th, when the lead attorney, the lead partner at Cadwalader, Wickersham and Taft, Ms. Karen Dyer, explained to them the results of the investigation, the merit to bringing a lawsuit, and the strategy for bringing that malpractice lawsuit by the end of August. He was there. He's lying to you now. He's lying to you always. Okay. And Mr. Di Gregorio, you're doing the same thing. You are kept very well informed. Now, if you can't understand what's being said, that's your own problem. But you were there. We have a record of you being there. We have a record of Karen Dyer telling you everything that they found. And that was only the beginning of the investigation, and they had enough to bring a malpractice case. Okay. So back off, stop lying.
The only time.
Litigation
I
should
spoke
continue.
with-
And by the way, you're trying to defend Mr. Wunsch, who is now your attorney and a defendant in that case. So that's how messed up New Jersey politics has become. When sitting councilmen
Need to
can't find
unmute
another
Mr.
lawyer other than the lawyer who's actually
Muted.
defendant in the
Laura,
case
please
to
unmute.
represent them.
Anna.
Are we good? All right.
All right,
Well,
go
let me
ahead.
reply to that now, because you know what? We have an attorney right now who, for Mr. McMorrow, sued the borough, and now we're using that attorney to sue Miss Duffy. So don't tell
Now-
me
now,
about what,
because
don't
now
tell
you've
me
lost the
things that
argument.
you know,
No,
okay?
you've lost the argument. You've been
I
proven a
yeah, I know,
liar.
point
So
your
now
fin-
you
I
have to
know.
go to another
There's no
subject.
liar. There's no,
Right?
li-
Now
you
you have
show
to go to
me,
another subject.
show
right?
me,
That's what you
show
do.
me, no, we'll stay
You-
on
you
it.
lost the
Show me
argument.
where,
You
for
lost
that
the
meeting that
argument.
you're talking
You are
about,
proven a
for that
liar.
meeting that you're
You are
talking
proven a
about,
liar.
I was,
I
David,
just proved you're a
ask
liar.
anyone,
And
ask,
now you have to go to another
Ask
subject.
any one of the other council members.
Now you
They
have to
will
go to
tell
another-
you that
now
for
you have to go to
50
another
minutes,
subject matter because
I
you already
was
lied.
put out of the meeting.
Yeah, I know.
I did
Okay,
not hear
Mr.
her
Luciano,
presentation at all.
We're all mature. We
Didn't
don't have
hear her
time for your
presentation at
immaturity.
all.
Mr.
I was put out of the
Luciano,
meeting,
go get
muted,
your notes.
muted
Whatever-
and booted.
Whatever your people are telling you to say,
Muted
tell
and
them to
booted.
double check it because they're
Muted
wrong.
and booted.
With the representative from Cadwalader only simply said when you first introduced her to us, that the chances of winning were iffy, and you just went with that hook, line, and sinker. And then our own borough attorney said that to try to get a malpractice is extremely difficult. And I don't know why you are constantly going after these attorneys. They brought to the town the best affordable housing.
For your political
deal
machine. That's exactly
that
what
we-
they brought.
that we
They
got.
brought the
Well,
I know,
best
that's why,
political
that's
machine
why you have
deal
O'Toole.
possible.
That's
That's
why
what
you
they did,
appointed
right?
a judge that lies on the first day when she's
Graft and
appointed.
corruption, I will not put up with, Mr. Di Gregorio.
Yep.
Your nonsense.
should
Mr.
resign.
Luciano, I'll put up
You
with
should
to a certain
resign.
point. But
You
when
should
Listen,
resign.
Miss Dyer first came to us, yes, she said, I need to investigate. And then she did. And if you recall, Mr.
Just read the
Di
closed
Gregorio, look
session
into your
minutes.
calendar on August
Just read the
11th.
closed session
On
minutes.
August 11th, she explained to us that there indeed was merit because these 4 law firms committed malpractice.
Like
It's
other
not
council
yours.
members have said, if your lips are moving, you're lying. So the
Well,
public will
that's fine.
determine.
Change the subject. That's
The
all you have to
public will
do.
determine.
And that's all you have to do is change the
I
subject.
know.
because that's
Ask
not gonna make you
anybody.
look any
Ask
more honest.
anybody. I was put out of the
If
meeting.
you
You're a
change the
clown.
subject- If
You're
you
a
change the
clown.
subject.
No,
and
what do you
name
want to
call,
talk about?
If
You
you
put
name
me out of
call,
the meeting.
it
You
doesn't
put
make
me
you
out of,
look.
did you put me out of the meeting?
Did
you put me out of the meeting?
Mr. Luciano.
Did you put me
if-
out of the meeting? Let's see who's a true
I did
liar.
not put you out of that meeting.
Then
Mr.
you're a liar,
Luciano,
see?
Name calling.
You're 100% a
Changing the
liar.
subject does not make you an
You're
honest person,
100% a
okay?
liar.
You proved your dishonesty.
Whatever,
to-
move on. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Tim. Control the
fact-
meeting.
The fact that Mayor Kranjak had control of Zoom.
Oh, now it's all about Zoom. Now it's
Well-
about Zoom. You guys were there. You heard her. You asked questions, Mr.
I
Di
think
Gregorio.
we have video evidence.
Mr. Di
of how
Gregorio,
often that
you
we
asked
put up-
questions.
We have
No, we're
video
talking about
evidence.
closed session.
I,
okay.
yes, and I. those
Okay,
are
move
minutes.
on. This is
You
all. a
can,
bunch
let's
of
release
manure.
the minutes, those closed session minutes. I'd be very
You
interested.
know,
in
the
public
two of you
to see
can keep
that.
coming at me, and I'm going to keep proving you liars and dishonest people.
We know who
That's
the
all you
liar
are.
is. Everyone know who's the liar is.
So I just would say that if, Mario Kranjak has a record of
Okay, here we
violating
go.
our civil
Here we
rights.
go.
I make a motion to call
Oh,
the
your civil
question.
rights are violated.
David,
Mr.
call the
Di Gregorio?
question.
Is that what the
Call the
problem is? Your
question.
civil rights are, oh, Mr.
Let's
You have a
call the-
motion in a
Sorry.
second.
Porchers,
Please call the question,
the-
Ms. Borchers.
Am I calling the roll call for
My short.
To reclaim the $100,000 from Cadwalader.
There we go.
Councilman Farrow? Councilman Farrow?
Going out of order?
This is to reclaim the $100,000.
Mr. Katsoulis is muted. He had his hand up.
Is
Hold on
he?
a second. Yeah, he's muted.
It doesn't say he is.
No,
He's not. The
unmuted me.
mayor
That's
is
why I
just
put my
hoping.
hand up, Laura, thank you.
Mayor is just
Were you
hoping.
part of discussion, Mr. Katrubis?
Well, it's too late now. We already called the
No,
question.
no, but we.
We
didn't
called the
look at-
question.
Oh,
We're
my
in a
God.
roll call right now.
Mr.
Follow your
Katrubis,
own
do you
rules.
have anything
Follow
to
your own
say?
rules.
I have
Follow
nothing
your
to
own
say
rules.
to this whole thing.
Mr. Luciano.
Follow
just
your own rules.
Back off. Mr.
Follow your own
Luciano.
rules. I'm back. I'm
Luciano,
relaxed.
This is not the
Call the roll
playground.
call, please,
This is
Laura.
not the playground. This is not
Call the roll call,
WWE.
please,
We could
Laura.
actually have a
Councilman
conversation.
Farrow,
What is that?
to reclaim the 100,000 paid to Cadwalader.
No,
Councilman Park,
Abstain.
Councilman Di Gregorio,
Yes,
Councilman Luciano,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis,
I'm gonna abstain.
Mayor, that's 2 abstentions, 1 nay, 2 ayes.
And under
According to the
Munch
rule that
rules-
you did the other day, it passes.
Well, under Munch rules, are those no's or are they, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. He said.
Well,
they
let's
vote-
ask Mr. It's not Munch
said
rule
he-
because we
Mr.
have a borough
Mr.
attorney here.
Dasty,
Let
Mr.
me finish
Dasty.
speaking,
Let
please,
Mr. Dasty
please.
answer.
Mr. Luciano,
attorney.
back off.
Let
Back
Mr.
off.
Dasty answer.
Mr.
Back off,
Mr.
Mayor. Let
Luciano.
Dasty answer.
In the past couple
Mr.
meetings.
Dasty,
the
can you please
abstention-
tell us if it passed or
Mr.
not?
Luciano, you don't have the floor.
Mr.
Would you
Dasty,
stop
can you
it?
tell us if it
Let
passed
me
or not?
just, Mr. Dasty, in the past couple meetings, since October, whenever the bylaws were changed, Mr. Munch has determined that abstentions go with no's.
No, I think what it needs
Laura was
is,
the vote.
so we
Laura
have,
was-
Want me to speak over him? If he starts to speak over people, do the same thing to him that
I'm
you
the
do to
chair of the
everybody
meeting.
else. Please, it
I'm
doesn't
the
matter
chair
if you're
of
the
the
chair. You're rude and obnoxious, and if you're gonna talk over people, you should be muted,
No,
just
because
like
if
you
are
want
gonna
people
call
to
me
do to
names, I'm
you.
gonna respond. in
So,
kind.
and so will I then. So don't mute me either
That's-
then. But if he, Laura, please,
Well,
if
then
he
say
talks
something.
while I'm
Just stop
talking, I
crying,
have
Mr.
the floor,
Luciano.
please mute
Stop
him.
crying. Say something substantive,
Miss,
please.
Mrs. O'Shea, I find it kind of funny that, you know, what the mayor for the past, like he just said, no shovels in the ground, has, blown his own horn, raised his own flag, ran his own parade, about how he's been the only one that has stopped this 800 Sylvan. So for you to sit there and say the mayor had nothing to do with it, that meeting or anything else is really kind of hypocritical to me. But also, I think it's funny that, the Democratic controlled council at the time listened to the public. And you have an issue that the Democrats didn't choose to stick with the plan because you had a mob scene at the school and they did bend to the wishes of the public. But in reality, this, as we all know, what the problem was is that the planning board messed this up from the beginning. And if I am remembering correctly, I believe you, Miss O'Shea, voted to deny 800 Sylvan. So as a member of the planning board, you voted against it, which start this whole wheel spinning. So to sit there and say, and to even talk bad about the Democrats who are in control, that listen to the public, even though they even voiced their concern and even said, I believe Deborah said that, you know what, she's changing her mind because of the popular vote, the populists coming out and speaking their mind. So now if she wouldn't have, I can only see that then it would have been, we didn't listen to the public. So there is truth in that, you know what, there's no winning in whatever you do because, they'll always find fault in something. But let's remember that, you know what, Miss O'Shea, you were the one that voted to deny 800 Sylvan when you were on.
May I respond to?
Oh, there's no, her time's up,
I
Mayor. There's
didn't-
no
Oh, you,
response.
you
Go
brought
ahead.
up something, Glenn. I
Doesn't
think I
matter,
should-
Go ahead,
Mrs.
Mrs.
O'Shea.
Miss O'Shea,
No,
I
it
didn't
doesn't
know you
matter.
voted that way. You know
Of
what?
course,
I
I
I'm
don't
learning.
deny that. I was on the planning board, and when the application came up for the office complex,
I am
and
shocked.
they wanted multiple subdivisions,
Voted no.
and I know I voted no, and the motion did not pass, and they had in their mind from the beginning
You know
a
what was in their
residential
mind.
development because Shapizi had gone in and got all the documents on our
All
COLA
hearsay.
plans in the town. And then he was one of the attorneys on the case, okay? So, it
Okay.
was very clear what was going on. And
Thank you.
I'm sorry that it went that way, but, all the mayor did with that meeting in the school was demand that there was a meeting that the public could hear what was going on. And that was right. Whatever way it went out, it went out. But
Okay.
when David always talks about it, he never mentions that. And I think it's just part of the facts. I
Well,
admit that
learned
I was on the planning board. I'm sorry that things worked out the way they did. I wanted 800 Sylvan to come back with modified plans for the building. I asked them to,
Didn't they do that multiple times?
no, they did not.
Yes,
They
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 did.
did not. They did not. They did not. They
did.
wanted, they
Okay.
wanted to, the two main purposes.
We
that
can move on,
800
Mayor.
Sylvan
Okay.
We
wanted,
can move on,
they
Mayor.
wanted the subdivision and they wanted the restriction,
can move
deed
on, Mayor.
restriction removed. And they needed that done for the housing, not for the office building.
Ms.
Okay,
O'Shea,
thank you,
I'm
Mr.
very,
I
very,
have the floor. I have the floor.
I have to
Mrs.
say
I
that,
have
Ms.
the floor.
O'Shea,
Hold
I
on.
really
Mr.
didn't know that you
DiGregorio, Mr.
voted
DiGregorio, I
against
have
the
the floor, Mr.
corporate
DiGregorio.
development.
You are
And
not
that's really a
recognized, Mr.
shock to me,
DiGregorio. Mr.
because
DiGregorio,
you
you
really
are not
kind of
recognized.
unleashed on the
Mr.
community.
DiGregorio, stop.
Whole,
Mr. DiGregorio, you are not recognized. There's one more very, very important fact regarding that meeting in July of 2019 at the school when, yes, the council did decide to go to trial. But you know what else happened right after that? And we found out about it last year, was there was
Here
an
we go.
email exchange where Mr.
Out of
Wunsch, your
context.
attorney.
Out
let me
of
finish.
context, out
Let
of
me finish.
context, out
Your
of
attorney
context.
said, we're going to put on a show referring to the trial, which actually turned out to be a show. It was a nightmare.
Wasn't
actually.
that brought to the attention of the court? Didn't the court already rule that that didn't mean anything?
Yes, you know
Didn't
why?
they? Okay, so
Because the
stop
court-
playing
the
that
court
same
is-
tune
the
that
court
has
is in
been found
charge
to
of
do
making
mean
sure
nothing.
that.
It's
Hold on a
found to
second.
mean
Let me
nothing.
finish. I was
You
respectful.
already found,
I
they've
let you
already found,
speak.
they already ruled against you.
I let you speak.
They already
and
ruled
let me have
against
the
you.
floor.
They
You know, as
found
the
it
chair of
without
this
merit.
meeting, Ms.
They
Borchard,
found it
hand over
without
the
merit.
microphone Right now.
no, do not mute
So
anybody.
as the chair of this meeting, I have the right to speak.
No, you
And
don't.
to make the record clear.
You don't have
Mr.
to-
DiGregorio, you can run for mayor, and if you become mayor, you could be here doing what I'm doing, but it's very difficult to herd cats, okay? And that's exactly what I have to do, and I've been doing it for 6 years. The court and the politicians and the special hearing officers created a system where towns like ours can never win unless we really challenge them, which is all I want to do, is to say, you know what? Our residents have rights also. They work hard, they pay for their homes, they pay taxes to the town. They do have rights. And it's high time that residents in New Jersey, taxpayers in New Jersey, are recognized as actually having rights to their own property. We shouldn't be in a position as taxpayers where we're doing nothing more than renting our houses from the government because of the tax situation, because they want to appeal to a different base of voters, okay? That's what this is all about. I'm here to stop that. I'm here to change it. And for 6 years, I've been successful, and it's been
You are-
difficult because I
you
have
are
people like you,
only-
Mr. DiGregorio, who
You are
want to
only the
champion
mayor of
want
Englewood.
to champion a
District,
political
responsible for
machine
the
over the
party and
residents.
the people in
I don't know
Englewood.
what's in it for you,
You are
Mr.
not the
DiGregorio,
governor of
but
New
what you're
Jersey.
doing
You are
makes no
not the
sense.
president of the United States. And that's what you need to get through your head, is that your
So let's
personal
go to the next president.
ideology
You had your,
has done nothing but
you had your
make
chance
the
to speak.
Laura,
situation
I'm not being
worse.
very happy
And
about
worse.
being
Okay,
muted. I'm
Mrs.
just letting you know.
Miss-
It's not gonna
Guys,
work out
Go
well.
ahead.
It's not gonna
Guys,
work out
not-
well. I'm
This
just
is
telling you.
public portion, everyone. This is public, okay? Miss Guest, I saw your hand was up.
Let me just find her for a minute. She's right here. Okay.
Thank you. I have a few very simple questions. First of all, and Mr. Mayor, you said you want to represent the citizens of Englewood Cliffs who want to keep fighting and keep appealing or whatever these affordable housing. And I can tell you there's a sizable number of citizens who would rather these lawsuits end. And I would like to ask, I believe Councilman Katrubis is the council president, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, so Mr. Katrubis, if you could please speak, and I don't want to hear anybody else speaking except for you. If you could please tell the public right now how many lawsuits are going forward and how many appeals are taking place right now with regards to the affordable housing. Where are we with all of this right now?
There's one appeal for the COA.
There's one appeal for the
It's
COA.
already been briefed.
Okay,
Um,
and
That's
the,
pending in the next few months. The only
Okay.
thing that we have left is we have this trial for the malpractice.
Mhm.
We also have a complaint against the former IT department because of emails that have gone missing. It seems that's also an issue, which probably revolves around affordable housing. So those are, I would say, the three main complaints that are outstanding.
Right. And so the Caldwelder are they still working for the borough, or have they stopped and we just have this one bill to pay them?
Well, that's, they're not working for the borough anymore. As far as what the outstanding balance is, that's really up in the air, and it's really not my position to answer that question at this moment.
I'm just trying to.
Yeah,
get
I
everything
understand.
together,
You're
because,
free to
like,
ask it.
often, yeah. And often at these meetings, there's so much shouting and there's so much back and forth and there's so much bad blood. It's very, very confusing for members of the public to follow this. So we've got these three cases, and then I believe Ms. Duffy is suing the town, and then there's more lawsuits with that. Are there other lawsuits as well? Or is that
There's
the
a
only,
lot of
is that
people
the,
suing the town.
yeah. So all these different people are being, suing the town, suing back and forth. And so if this appeal does not go through, and again, we're told we have to build the affordable housing, will the council accept this, or is there going to be another one and keep appealing and keep this endless cycle? It's just, the council have any thoughts on that, or are you all planning on just continuing every time the mayor and doesn't get what he wants with regards to affordable housing, there's going to be another appeal? I mean, I'm just wondering what the future plan is. Is this ever going to end?
Are you looking for an answer from anybody, Ms. Guest? Or did you only want to hear from
I'd like to
Tim?
hear I'd like to hear from Mr. Katrubis right now, because
That's what I was asking. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a difficult question to answer at this moment, because it seems like there's a huge disagreement with how we should proceed with future strategies. As you can see, I am the champion of bringing more heads to the table. Other people don't want me to have those abilities. My opinion on that is because some people would like to see things just shoveled under the rug, so to speak, and just let things go, which I respect that opinion. If you can't win something, you can't win it. I get it. There's other people who just have their own conflicting agenda that revolves around control. And then there's an individual like myself who believes that there's always a solution to things. That doesn't necessarily mean fighting or not. There's various things that you can do. But in the end, and I wish I could expand on it more, but it's not going
that's okay.
to move my strategy, and it's only going to confuse you more. And but I'm a firm believer that there are solutions. It's just, if people are going to tie my hands, there's very little that I can do about it.
Okay, because what I'd like to, I mean, on behalf of, and I have, good friends in town who, we hear there's a council meeting, everybody thinks, oh gosh, I don't want to go, because it's so excruciatingly painful to listen to the endless bickering and the arguing and people talking over each other and calling each other names. I mean, it's frankly disgusting. And so what we see in town, though, is all we hear about are lawsuits back and forth and this malpractice here or this there. I mean, I don't know the details because I can't even follow them anymore. But what I do see is massive potholes in town. What I do see is overgrowth and weeds all over the corner when you turn from Palisade Avenue onto 9A. I see this mess all over the place, and I think this is such a. You all spend all of you, the entire council and the mayor, spend so much energy fighting over this stuff, and nothing gets done. And yes, I want our taxpayer money spent in the best way possible, but I also want the roads to be fixed. I want the landscaping to be done. I mean, it's incredibly galling and frustrating, and to only have the loudest voices ever be heard and everybody gets drowned out. I can tell you there's a sizable number of people in town who want all these litigations just to end. All right. We were given we were told what we had to build. We were told what had to be done. The deal was made. Just finish it. That's enough.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I just
We
wanna-
have not, no, I'd like to finish what
I
I'm
wanna
saying here,
respond to
because no,
Yeah, me too.
I know what you think, Marion. And you're going to call me, let's say I'm a socialist or I'm a communist, or
No,
I'm
no,
left
no, I'm
wing,
gonna
whatever
say
like
that
that. But
there
I'm
are
just,
no
no,
weeds.
I'm speaking right
There
now.
are no
I'm
weeds on that
speaking right
corridor.
now.
In fact, I saw.
Well,
Hold
you
on a
know
second.
what?
There are no
you know
weeds.
what?
I
I
saw
can
them
recognize.
actually with leaf blowers there the other day. They were blowing the leaves out of that area.
Okay, well,
So
you
it's
can,
clean,
okay, well, if you walk, you know,
We're ending winter, so yes, there are
Miss
potholes.
Geist, this is what he does, and I
There are
apologize.
potholes, Ms. Guest. There are
you know,
potholes,
Mary,
but
can
they
you
get
please
filled
not
in, Ms.
interrupt
Guest.
me? Can you
Ms.
please
Guest,
not
You've
interrupt
been at
me?
it 10 minutes, Ms. Guest, so it's fine.
No, but
Now,
I
there's a
can tell you
town-
there
there's a-
are plenty
there's a
of
time
weeds.
limit?
There are-
Ms.
There's a
there
time
are
limit?
There are
plenty of
potholes.
weeds.
We're also in the middle of winter.
Can you let the
and those
residents
potholes
speak?
get filled in.
I
So let me
know,
ask you a
I know
question,
Can you let
that,
the
but I'm
residents
Do you
going
want
speak?
your
to,
taxes to
all
go up
right,
2
so
times or
I'm
3
going,
Sorry,
times?
Miss Guest.
Do you and
That's all
Roberta
right,
want your
that's all
So
right.
taxes to go
Emma,
up
I'd
2
like
times
to
or 3
address
times?
what
I'm
you're
paying
saying
my
right now.
taxes and I'm happy to pay
Laura,
my
can you
taxes
mute
to
the
go to
mayor,
the things
please?
for the
You're
town.
okay with 3 times?
Okay, I
Laura,
would
mute
like
the
to,
mayor.
Emma,
I
I'd like
know
to
my
address what you're
taxes,
saying
so
right now.
I'd just like to speak to Mary for 1 second. First of all, the place is covered in poison ivy and I can pick out poison ivy a mile away, and winter's the time
Winter.
to
How
start
is there
getting rid of
poison
it.
ivy in the
You can
Can you
winter?
get, you can
mute
see,
the
you can
mayor,
see it,
Laura,
okay?
please?
So please.
How is there
The
poison
other,
ivy
the
in the
other thing is,
winter?
I don't mind paying my taxes to go to things that will help the town and things that are worth paying for. I do mind my taxes going to frivolous lawsuits that are constantly being brought up. That's what I mind my taxes going to, okay? Because
Emma-
I pay my taxes willingly to support the town. I do not like them going to frivolous
You know what? We had a
lawsuits.
tax cut last year.
So, Mr.
Mayor, let her
Katrubis had
speak.
something to say to me, please?
Yeah,
Mary,
I
don't
just
need
like to
hear from you.
address
So,
one thing,
thank you.
right?
Mhm.
And first and foremost, you're absolutely right. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring residents and getting their opinions. Because in all fairness, one of the reasons why you're seeing everything is because this borough is probably the most mismanaged thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay. And the reason that we're in a lot of the reason that we're in this mess is because of inaction. And most people have just done nothing for years. And the problem that I have is, okay, I understand if you don't know any better. But when somebody comes to the table like myself and starts pointing these issues out, and you still don't want to do anything about it, then I take exception to that. And I like to just state that I have personally worked very hard to try to clean this place up. And, you know, it's very shameful on everyone's part for not wanting to partake in this ad hoc committee, because it revolves around these weeds that are growing, right? It revolves around, there's nobody on this council that has any sort of vision in terms of land use or anything of that matter. So to reject people with that type of experience is really an atrocity to our democracy. And, you know, I implore you to please reach out to every single council member, including Mr. Luciano and including Mr. Di Gregorio, because they know the reason that they don't want this is because there's certain members that don't want these type of solutions because they'd rather see this mess just get swept under the
Don't
rug.
speak for me, Councilman Katrubis.
I'm just, look,
You know
Glenn,
as well as I do,
it
with all due
speaks-
respect,
it's-
Ms. Guest.
look,
Tim, let me
you
just know,
can't,
you're gonna,
you can't, hold on,
you're
Glenn,
gonna,
Glenn,
go ahead,
Glenn,
I'm sorry.
I'm not,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to Ms. Guest,
Go ahead,
right?
I
And
understand.
it really comes down to that you've had every opportunity and there's no reason why anybody should shun expertise, okay? And it's fine, it's your right to do it, but you need to own it to the public at some point. There is no person on this council that has more experience than the people that I'm bringing. And it really is a shame, and I'm sorry about that. That's all
My hand is up.
Well, wait, Mr. Di Gregorio, because he didn't say something about you per se. But Tim, with all due respect, and Ms. Guest, I have voted for your committee. I voted not to reinstate your committee.
Yep.
I've voiced my concern. Don't say it's because we have some other agenda that we don't want something to come out. I think if you looked at every court decision that our that our infamous leader has led us into battle on, we've lost every single one.
That's
I
different
think
though,
that,
Glenn.
no, wait, let me finish, please. It has nothing to do with, I don't want things to come out. It has to do with, you know what? When we bring in a civilian that we've been advised about, except for supposedly Mario says there's some kind of written opinion that I've asked about for the past 3 months from Mr. Bernstein, who said that the attorney-client privilege wouldn't be, an issue. But once you bring in someone that's not an elected official, we have a problem with attorney-client privilege.
That's not true.
The second-
Okay, we have many professionals that are working for the borough that have attorney-client privilege. You can't go there.
Oh, well, really?
Yeah, really. And I'm not gonna take any sort of legal advice from anybody who's given it to you, Glenn, because frankly, they've been wrong a lot of the times too.
Okay,
And I'll
well,
challenge them. I
okay,
will
well, I'm
challenge them.
just, the advice, and I believe even the mayor, but believe it or not, will sit there and say he's in agreement with me, and he's raised this issue on numerous
No,
occasions.
I don't
So-
think that the mayor ever took that position. I think the mayor said that we have a flushed out legal opinion. I'm not going to speak for the mayor. Let him speak for himself, but that's what I
Okay, well,
think.
Miss Guest, I think that, it has nothing to do with not wanting to come out with I've done nothing, I think, but want the very best to happen for Englewood Cliffs with the situation that we're in.
Okay, so vote for the
It has
committee.
nothing to do with the committee and not wanting certain issues because I'm protecting anything. I'm not protecting anybody but the taxpayers. We've already wasted
Well, vote for the committee, Glenn.
unfunded. Tim, I didn't do that to you. Stop marioing me, please.
Okay.
I haven't voted for anything. I mean, the mayor keeps saying our friends. I don't have any friends that are making money. I didn't hire a law firm that, the mayor wants to hire O'Toole, one of the biggest Republican law firms in the state. And he's going to talk about our friends making money. I mean, there's someone that had an $80,000 cap and spent 200, almost 300,000. And we're talking about our friends. But I think when we look at the opinions, and I'm 100% with you, Ms. Guest, I want all of this stuff I've said from the beginning needs to be put behind us. Nothing is winnable, not even, I believe Councilman Katrubich says something about the trial for the malpractice. We don't have a trial for malpractice. The judge just found that there's no merit in the lawsuit that we filed. So unless that's an indication that the majority plans on appealing it, even though they just voted to extend it 45 days, if you look at the opinion, we're throwing good money after bad. We've spent millions already. We're gonna lose. The new owner of 800 Sylvan, I guarantee you, is going to build, and we have to. The mayor thinks that he's gonna, there's gonna get to this federal court, and he's gonna be, on the Lawyer of the Year award on, Legal Magazine, that he overturned the affordable housing issue. Never gonna happen. It's never going to happen. And I agree with you. We need to just put all this behind us. Even, Ms. Guest, all these appeals that we've done, we've never even been given the ability to say, should we do this? Well, the last one that we just fought about, we appealed a $6,000 bill, and it cost us $12,000 to appeal it. I think if you sat down and they said to you, oh, it'll cost you $5 to pay this fine, or we can go and fight it for $20 or $10, and I'm exaggerating on the money, but it was a $6,000 fine that we paid $12,000 to an attorney to appeal the $6,000 fine. This is the fiduciary responsibility that the mayor keeps wanting to say we have a fiduciary responsibility, because he has a need for revenge, and that's all these lawsuits are. Okay, now someone's going to say we filed a lawsuit. Yes, I filed a lawsuit to protect the taxpayers from having to pay $1 million to a law firm that couldn't legally work in New Jersey, that was recommended to us by the mayor. He's going to say he didn't vote for it, and he's right. He doesn't vote on anything when it looks bad, but he'll take credit for everything that is supposedly he thinks is good. So yes, I think that we're throwing good money after bad. We're wasting taxpayer dollars. We should look at this, do a legal analysis. Is it worth going forward? Because if you look at the opinions that are written by Judge Farrington, who the mayor thinks is incompetent, and the more he talks about it, the worse it gets for Englewood Cliffs, and all the bad talking he did about 800 Sylvan, that did nothing but hurt us. So
Hey, can I
I'm
say,
sorry for being long-winded.
Can I
I
jump?
apologize.
I'd like to
But who's
jump.
gonna, who's gonna get this legal analysis, Glenn? Who's gonna do that legal analysis? You and David? I just wanna
Yeah,
know.
yeah. No, Mario's gonna do it for us.
No, no,
He's
I'm
he's
asking you a
done it
question.
so
Are you
well
and
for us
David
so
gonna do the
far.
legal analysis?
We
I'm
have done
curious.
so great with
Indulge
Mario's
us.
legal
You
analysis.
said there should be a legal analysis done. Who's gonna do it? You and
Well,
David?
Well, wait, do you think that Cadwalader should have came and given us an investigation report that said, here's
That's
the
not the
reason?
question I asked
No,
you. You
no,
said
it
that
is.
we-
It's exactly the
that's
question
exactly
you're
what I
asking.
just told the public.
We
Glenn. I just
hired
told
an
the public
attorney.
That a
We
full
hired an
evaluation-
attorney, right? Tim, the mayor said that we got an investigation report, Tim. Did you get an
Glenn.
investigation report?
Glenn, you're pivoting.
You're gonna
The
stand
point
behind the
is
mayor?
this,
Did we
okay?
get an
And I'm trying to
investigation
answer Ms.
report?
Guest's question.
Okay.
Or who's
I don't
gonna do
wanna
the
argue.
legal
I
analysis?
apologize.
Because you and David are incapable of doing it. And I'm trying to bring professionals to the table that have this type of experience, and you guys don't want that. And
Okay.
that's what's wrong here, okay?
But wait,
None
you're
of
bringing
these
someone to the
people-
table
you
that
should
can't give us
believe
legal
this, Ms.
analysis
Guest,
either.
None of these people up in this council, very few of them have any idea what they're doing, okay?
And the
If I-
person you
I
want to
heard-
bring in, Tim, can't give us a legal analysis either.
That's not true, Glenn.
they an
You-
attorney?
You do not know that.
they an
You
attorney?
do not know that.
Are they an attorney?
It doesn't, they don't have to be an attorney
Well,
to
then
get,
that's
to provide
ridiculous.
to
Okay.
provide a simple
Then
analysis.
I can give a legal analysis too then.
Okay,
Okay.
I didn't ask for a legal opinion. I asked for an analysis. Okay, there's a big difference.
All right, is it my turn now? Can I
Go
say
ahead.
something
Try
final?
to keep it brief.
Okay, first of all, Ms. Guest, thank you so much for your comments, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. I agree with Tim, I agree with Glenn. First of all, I'd like to say Tim has made some very good moves as far as the administration building. I hope we're on the mend on there. I think he brought in some couple of good people. I do agree with you. And I'd like to actually point out who is the liaison to the DPW on council. Is that Mr. Farrow?
Yes, I am.
Oh, Mr. Farrow, I am actually shocked, and I'm going to be advocating for Ms. Guest that, first of all, there are machines that need to be repaired down there. There's a lot of attention. I wish that you would have brought that to the council's attention, because this town, you know what, we've got to borrow equipment from Fort Lee. We've got to borrow, our street sweeper has never been out because it's in other towns. So I would encourage you
We borrow and they borrow.
to find out what's going on, Mr. Farrow, and let the council know and sound the alarm. The other thing is, Ms. Guest, I do wholeheartedly agree. You go around and you see the catch basins in town, they need cleaning. There's all the way up and down. I know it's not our road. And the other thing, Mr. Farrow, is you should be advocating, if we need to give some of our people overtime, give them overtime. Let's clean up this town. This town is a mess and it's got to be cleaned up. There's overgrowth. Every corner, you see plastic bottles on the catch basins, all of this stuff. That's why I totally agree with what Mr. Luciano, so Councilman Luciano says, and what Ms. Guest says. Put this behind. Listen, let's attend to the town.
Mr.
Let's
Tekur,
attend to the town. Let's move and attend to the needs of the residents.
Mr. De Gregorio, Councilman, you are part of the committee, the DPW committee, so you have the power to do that.
You are the chair.
Yes, I am the chair, but you are part of the committee.
So let's start moving on it, okay?
Why don't you guys have a committee meeting?
And I have observed this, and I think I was just put on the committee. I didn't even know that I'm on. I just know that you happen to be the
This
chair.
is my point, Miss Guest. Nobody knows what's going on around here, okay?
So
Everyone's all talk.
let's move and let's listen to Ms. Guest, and let's listen to the other residents.
Hold on a second, let me just jump in here. I think you really have to be fair and respectful to the DPW that does a great job. Don't forget, they're doing a lot of different things, right? They're doing recycling, North Cliffs, South Cliffs. You know,
As
they're
a
doing a
council,
lot.
we need to
Let me
support
finish,
their
let
work.
me finish.
As a council,
Let
we
me
need to
finish.
support their
Mr.
work.
Di Gregorio, I let you
I have
speak.
never
Let me
heard
finish.
you ever.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Be respectful because you're not.
Did you know about
It's the middle of
backhoe
winter, Miss
program?
Guest, and there's potholes. Yes, there's potholes all over New Jersey, all over the northern United States. That's the way it is. They fill them in. They do their best. In fact, when there was a warm day a few weeks ago, they were literally cleaning up the intersection that you're so aggrieved about at the corner of 9W and Palisades Ave. You know, they're doing their best. So all I ask you people is to be respectful. They will clean the catch basins. That's what they do in the spring after the winter. You know, they do their job. And you know, we've actually had a tax cut last year of 2.6 or 2.8%, I forget exactly what it was. You know, and what's going to happen with affordable housing, if I don't continue this fight, and Mr. Katrubis and Mr. Farrow and Mr. Park don't continue this fight, you're all going to be paying triple your taxes. That's what's going to happen.
Please unmute Mr.
And just as God made little green apples, you people are all
Thank you.
going to be paying, you're all going to be paying triple taxes. And then I just want to say, if that
a
happens,
lie.
it's because of the Democrats running this place, right, for years. But
They
you
kept
can
the
win
tax
these
rate the
affordable
lowest in
housing.
the
Let me
county.
finish.
Lowest in the county.
You can win these affordable housing
You
cases.
cannot,
Westchester County
not New
just
Jersey,
reversed a lot of decisions.
not New
to the
Jersey.
Supreme Court, okay? And in New Jersey, if we could get into federal court, is going to also get reversed. All right, so, and that's it. It's not perfect. And yes, it is terrible when we have to raise our voices, but everyone interrupts everybody else. Everybody calling names of everybody else. It's terrible. You know what? And for 6 years, I've been fending off basically crazy people here, really. The council, be it Wunsch, Sabari, Aversa, Ellen Park. Jimmy Song was the only guy that never said a word. Luciano, Di Gregorio.
McMorrow,
These
O'Shea,
people they're all part of a
Farrow,
machine.
right?
I apologize
let's
to the
talk about a
public.
machine.
I apologize to the public. They're all part of a political machine that can't believe that they don't have the mayor's seat for 6 years and it's me. That's all it is,
Yeah,
okay? So
'Cause
get
you
over
beat-
it.
because according to your website, you beat the Parisis when you didn't even run against them. So
Get
let's talk
over it.
about being a liar.
Get over it. Get over it.
That
That makes you sound very mature, really.
sounds like
Okay,
you're,
so-
sounds like
so
you're a
there's no one else
compulsive
from the
liar.
Public, I don't see anybody
Make the
else.
motion to close the
No, I
meeting to
don't.
the public.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Actually, no, we have a
No, we
motion.
have
to
to
close- Hold on a second. Make a motion to close the public portion, please.
I just made that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have a motion to adjourn?
No, the
Wait,
minute-
new business? Okay, adjourn. I make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Farrow, what was it? Hold on.
the minutes.
David,
The minutes?
minutes I already voted down before. The mayor didn't
No,
want them
no
to be
one,
voted
no
on.
one, no one would second them.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Oh, so
Is there a
Second.
second? Is there a second?
Second.
David, I think just did that.
All right, so this is for the 3 sets of minutes. Have a roll call, please.
Councilman Farrow? Councilman Farrow?
yes.
Councilman Park?
Yes.
Councilman Di Gregorio?
Yes.
David, I think you need to abstain. I don't, oh no, I'm sorry. I apologize. You were there.
Councilman Luciano?
I abstain.
Council President Katrubis?
Yes.
Mayor passes.
Okay, have a motion to adjourn.
Any new business? Oh, you know what? I have a question though.
Special
Adjourn,
meeting.
motion to adjourn.
Well,
Have
we
a
can bring
second?
anything. We've already have
there
special
a
meetings
second?
where anything could be brought.
Motion
You can try to
adjourn.
end the meeting, but we do allow to, are we allowed to ask a question or no?
Is there a second to adjourn?
Is there allowed to ask a question?
Second to ask the question. Go ahead, Glenn.
What's the second? You don't have a second to ask a question. Is it, so there's no second to adjourn, ask your
Glenn,
question?
ask the question.
That's all right. That's all right. Mayor wants
Second
it
to
end, so
adjourn.
Goodbye.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
No, I
Good
vote
night,
no.
everyone.
Just make the record clear. I voted
vote
no.
All right, of course you voted no. Good, all right, good
Course.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody. Sorry about the
Your immaturity on professionalism and lying.
sorry about